A year ago, I did a review of the Notion app, how you can use it and what I'm using it for. And ever since, my use of Notion has exploded drastically. It's even dripped a little bit into my 9 to 5. Every thought that I ever had, every idea and every piece of inspiration is saved somewhere in that maze of databases. But I always felt like it was missing a way of tying it together. Until Notion Calendar. My name is Terrinia and welcome to my channel. We're going to do a bit of a review of a deep dive into what Notion Calendar can do, even without the use of Notion itself. So if you like this type of video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and maybe give this video a like. And if you want me to, I can do another deep dive into the Notion application itself. This video is specifically about the Notion Calendar application. My previous video on Notion is a little old already, so I don't mind making a new one if that's what you want. So before we dive deeper into Notion Calendar, let me then give you a brief summary of what Notion actually is, in case you really don't know. So Notion is this application that is designed to help you organize basically whatever you want. Organizing your own personal life, maybe you want to organize a study or a course, a university course, but you can also organize as little things as maybe your book collection or a plan to watch as many movies as possible. It is extremely versatile and varied. In the basics, what you can do is you create a database and give it as many properties as you like to organize data in a way that makes sense to you. Let's say you have a book collection, you want to organize your books. A row in your database would be one book, and properties would be things like the title, the author, or a rating on how you liked it, maybe a checkbox if you actually finished the book, maybe a count on how often you've read it. And you can make it as complicated as you like, including adding formulas for automation. Then that table of data, so a table of your books, can be utilized in different views, including like a normal table view, a board view, a timeline view, and a calendar view. Now this is where the Notion app becomes a little tricky, because if you have different projects, you might want to use separate databases for them. And while you can give them a relationship, it doesn't necessarily put them all in one view. It doesn't really display together, and it can make you feel like you have to switch between screens all the time, and that makes it all very isolated and just not quite that little bit of organization that you might want to get out of Notion. It's something that you kind of have to feel, something you kind of have to experience. It doesn't feel quite as connected. And Notion Calendar was actually the perfect answer to that. Because every database that has a calendar view, aka the items are displayed as if they were calendar events, can be applied in the Notion Calendar application. So in the simplest form, as stupid as it may seem, all Notion Calendar really is a calendar interpretation of Notion, but it allows you to add your own calendars like your Google Calendar. Notably, there are a few things that I really like about the Notion Calendar app. You can move your calendar events easily between calendars, even if it means going from a Notion calendar view to a Google Calendar and back, which is something that tends to go wrong in other calendar apps. Outlook, you kind of have to remake the whole thing, you can't just move it. That was a big plus with this application. Changing one event that's part of a range of events feels very intuitive and secure. But other applications, when you start messing around with an event, one event that's a series of events, the thing kind of tends to fall apart. Like either you end up changing all of them, or you end up actually removing them, or you just have to redo the whole thing. Never had that problem in this application. The app actually works with shortcuts like Control-C, Control-P, but not Control-Z. But it does work with delete, which is also not something I've really seen in other applications yet. So I can Control-paste an event and I can make it longer and shorter. When you create an event with Google, you can also immediately create a Google Meet link in the application itself. So you don't actually have to go into the browser and do it manually after making the event. You can add multiple Google calendars, keeping it all in one place. Overall, to me, it really ties the experience together and makes my Notion data and everything that I've organized in Notion not feel so removed from my actual application, like from my actual life. Like I have my Outlook now to organize real life, and then there's Notion. This integrates Notion a lot more in my real life, making it a lot easier for those two worlds to work together and making it more real. There's definitely also some brewing potential left unexplored. For instance, while you can use Google Calendar, I am distinctly missing the use of Outlook, and other people are missing the use of iCal in this application. But I'm pretty sure, knowing Notion, that's probably still coming. And despite your Notion database now being treated as a proper calendar, it still doesn't have things like reminders. Like, I put a lot of my YouTube videos and other things that I'm working on in the calendar, and I was kind of hoping that they would have things like a reminder. Now instead, when I see one of those items coming up, aka videos do, I will make events around them to work with it, still actually in my Google Calendar, which is kind of strange because Notion is made for me to make another table with steps for a YouTube video, for example, like recording it, editing it, making the thumbnail. And it is also designed for my database with the video and my database with those steps to have a relationship with each other. Even some automation so that I could say that if all these steps are completed, like checked off, the video itself becomes checked off, or something like that. So for calendar events from a Notion database to not really be treated like calendar events is actually kind of strange. But I feel like Notion is still brewing on a lot of stuff. Personally, overall, I would give this application about a 7 out of 10. I don't really like to give a 10 easily to just a calendar application, but I like it so much because of its simplicity and its calm UI. It isn't trying to be overcomplicated like some calendar apps are trying to do. It's just got your events and all the things that you need to be able to do with your events. And it's dynamic, it can work across different platforms, and it looks very pretty and colorful, and it's just calm and organized. And if you're not a Notion user, you don't have to use Notion to benefit from this calendar. You just might find that it's just another calendar for you without the benefits that Notion brings. But I say that knowing that Notion is probably working on a lot more features, not only for a calendar, but also for other things that it can offer in terms of organization. Because to me, they have proven to really understand their target audience when it's about what they want and what they need. I hope this video managed to explain to you what Notion Calendar entails and what it can do for you. If you did, please give this video a like, a good old thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have thoughts about the calendar application, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. Maybe I'm glorifying it and you can shoot me down and tell me how horrible it is. I know the opinions of the app are a little bit mixed depending on who you ask. The application itself is free, both Notion for a single person use and the application for the calendar is free. So my name is Terrinia. I love making videos about tech, lifestyle and review applications like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!